This is Curated For You. Today we'll be having a casual chat about Fortune-499. You know, it's a lot like a Fortune 500 company, but with more monsters, wizards, and fortune telling. So you play as the fortune teller, Cassie, who loves rock, paper, scissors. She might have an obsession, I'm not sure. But she likes to play rock, paper, scissors because it allows her to use her fortune telling deck to predict what's going to happen. So the bottom left-hand corner, there's the fortune teller's deck. You draw a card, and if it's +4 to scissors, it adds +4 probability that the opponent will select scissors. It is not a guarantee, not by a long shot. I've definitely fought people that I added +4 to paper and rock, and they still chose scissors. It can happen. And if you draw more, you can draw up to 4 cards, but if they all end up having plus to rock, paper, scissors, all of them different, you will kind of screw your prediction up. So you really shouldn't do that. Now, adding these chance cards really works, and allowing you to predict what the opponent is going to do changes it and makes it more exciting than you would expect. Rock, paper, scissors has been done a million times. It's like the oldest game ever. Geez. And to do something so simple but add these new mechanics really actually works, and I like it a lot. There are also spells, so you have to worry about mana. Like, there's a lot more cards you can add to your deck than just simple +2, +3. The game expands quite significantly from initially where it starts. There are cards to add health. There's cards to increase your power in certain situations. Building your deck is key to being good at this game. And there are aspects of the game that come in, mechanics that come in that allow you to change the deck, but very limited ways. You can only shred a couple cards at a time. You can only print a couple cards at a time. Here's another mechanic that allows you to hide a card up your sleeve, and then you can replay it a couple times with mana. That can really affect how the battle goes, because if you played +4 to scissors a couple times, they're really going to end up playing scissors. Like, once those numbers get high enough, they will absolutely pick what the probability is. It's very important to use these mechanics, but the game, you really have to think about where you want to go with it, with your deck, and build it. You find new spells in library bookcases, and then you have battles like this that I have restrictions where you can play. If you play a card, it will reduce your attack power, or enemies might be stronger playing paper, stuff like that. Here you can print new cards. You can select which card you want. At the top, you can select if you want to add that card to your deck. You can shred cards to remove the weaker ones or the things that aren't really helping your deck out. You can move cards up to the front only, but as you see, you can only do it 3 times. And this is the part where I really screwed up and ruined my deck. I did not get it into a good order. That might be my fault at not understanding how to put things in a good order, but it is really difficult to know where you really want the cards to be. Obviously, you want to stack certain cards up, so it's like if you have +4 to scissors and the person's more likely to play scissors, then you'd want to have +6 rock power after that or something like that. You want to add rock power after. That way, they're more likely to play the card, and then you can really hit them hard with the next card. You'll know to play those 2 cards in a row. It's super important to build your deck like this. You can also increase your person with the funds you have. You work at a corporation, so you have a budget. So you can spend some of your budget to increase your stats in the gym. A little bit lighter. It's kind of basic here. What I do want to say about the game is that I think the combat works really well. All of these additions are really interesting, and the game keeps adding them as you go on. I was surprised at what exactly happened. And then I was given a bad card by an enemy. I thought that was really interesting too. It's part of the story. You have this shit card in your deck. It's really cool. There are other cards, and I said there are other cards that add plus health and plus scissors attack and stuff like that. You really gotta order it perfectly though. Anyway, look, the game has a really cute style. It's well written, it's super silly, and you work in a magic department at a corporation to predict what the corporation's going to do when monsters show up. So yeah, it's really silly. And they stuck to this 4-color palette, which I think is really important and keeps the theme of the game small and simple, and it looks really cohesive. Solid work. Overall, Fortune-499 is not easy. It was pretty hard, and I found it pretty difficult to know what kind of cards I was going to see and to build my deck, but it is a really well-made game that I enjoyed the mechanics of and made rock, paper, scissors more fun than I ever expected. Just keep in mind that, again, it is really hard, and there's no health hiccups really, and if you lose, you have to start over at the beginning of the room with little health, so the game is not really friendly to completing it. But it really is something, if you do like cards, that I think you should consider picking up.